Hello, welcome to today's yoga teaching. In this session, we are focusing on a key concept and fundamental practice of the Tantra Hatha Yoga practice. This is called sublimation, and it's taking the energy from the lower chakras and raising it up through the system to the higher chakras to activate these energy centers that are the higher levels of consciousness. This is a very important part of our practice of transformation. And there are many different ways to do this practice. First, we can do inversions in which we turn the body upside down, things like shoulder stand or headstand. But there are also other techniques such as Uddiyana Bandha, the abdominal suction. And eventually, when we get confident in working with the mind, we can actually use just the mind to guide the energy. And this is the deepest level of the practice. But before we get to that ability to use the mind to move our energy, we use the physical practices of the inversions or of the Uddiyana Bandha, this abdominal suction. And I have a teaching video on that abdominal suction, Uddiyana Bandha, that you should take a look at to learn the technique to do sublimation. Now, why do we want to do sublimation? Well, we have a tendency to have a tremendous amount of energy in the lower chakras. It's much easier to accumulate the energy here from the food that we eat, the water and liquids that we drink, walking on the earth, being in the sun, and this takes the prana into the lower centers. But our goal in yoga is to move that energy up through the chakra system, through the central channel, which is related to the spine. And this is the energetic channel. It's not a physical channel, but it's at the level of the spine. And within that central channel that moves through the level of the spine, we have the 7 chakras. And these 7 chakras are related to everything in human experience, our physical body, our energy, our emotions, our mind, and even our spiritual evolution. When we take this energy that we have a tremendous amount of, we bring it up through the system and we join it to the highest level. This is the ultimate goal of our Tantra practice. And you get what we call yoga, union. That union between energy and consciousness, the highest level of consciousness joined by that energy. And that is when we transcend our limited thinking of a dualistic nature. Our mind perceives everything in duality. We know light because we know dark, we know good because we know bad, and so on. And this limited thinking leads us to believe that there's a separation, that there's somehow a me versus the universe around me. Well, yoga is helping us to transcend that limited thinking and to understand that there is only one, and everything is connected. And by coming into this state of sublimation, you activate the chakras and you start to get to this higher experience by not only opening the heart, but as you go higher, you open the ability to speak truth or hear truth, and then you open your clear thinking through awakening the third eye. And finally, as we get that energy to the highest center, this is what takes us to the highest level of consciousness. Now, this idea of duality between energy and consciousness is part of the illusion, because these things are always one. Everything that exists is a form of energy, and everything that has energy and exists is also consciousness. So whatever you can perceive is awake, alive, and responding because it is conscious. And not only that, yoga teaches us that everything that you are perceiving is your consciousness. Whether it be another person, the mountains, the planets, the sun, the moon, they are all within your conscious awareness, so they are all inside of you. Now, this may sound like words and it's difficult to understand until you go into these practices, but the beauty of the science is that it's easy for anyone who has the intention and the motivation to step out of the limited thinking and to transcend this idea of separation. The yogis have taught us for thousands of years how to go into ourselves to answer these great questions. And sublimation is a direct science. Very easily applied. You just have to take the time and the motivation and get on the mat for a little bit each morning. And the beauty of sublimation is as it takes that energy up through the system, it refines it, it transmutes it, and it is used for something of a higher nature. And not only that, as you're doing sublimation, it changes your mood. So you can see it's a holistic practice. It affects the physical body because it helps to activate the endocrine system, which is responsible for the hormone production and the distribution of those hormones throughout the body, regulate all the functions in the body. At the energetic level, it's purifying the nadis, and it is purifying and opening and expanding the chakras, which we've already talked about. Then, of course, as you move the energy up, it's also related to changing your emotional and mental state. So I encourage you to look into to the teachings and the other videos about how to do these sublimation techniques, incorporate them into your life, and you'll see then a tremendous impact. It's actually taking you deeper into the yoga science. We know that stretching the body through asana, through physical postures, is very powerful and necessary. But as we go deeper into Tantra Hatha Yoga, it's actually going deeper into working with the energy, the subtle bodies. And in yoga, they talk about 5 bodies: the physical body, the energy body, the emotional body, the mental body, and of course, our spiritual body. This is the way that we actually go deeper into transformation, not just physical strength and flexibility, but transforming all the levels of our being so that we can fulfill our potential. So please bring these practices into your life. You get tremendous benefit, and I wish you all the best on your path. Thank you.